Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today we are back with another recent reads. And to be honest, I have not been reading as much as I normally do, especially these last couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually went on vacation for my little sister's birthday. She was turning 24 and we took a week-long cruise to Mexico. It was a fantastic time. She had a great time. I had a great time. It was just fun all the way around. But of course, leading up to the trip, I wasn't really reading that much. I was just focused on getting myself ready for the trip. And then when I got back, I needed a couple of extra days just to get myself back together. I had to get back into my work routine. I was trying to get back into my reading routine. And right now, I feel like I'm back to reading as much as I normally do. I also don't really have that many standout reads. I have one 4-star read. I don't have any 5-star reads. A lot of these books were just kind of mediocre to me. Some of them were a bit disappointing. Now, half of these books I have videos for, so I'm just going to briefly talk about them, and then we'll talk more about the other half that you guys have not seen me talk about. So we will talk about the books that I have videos for first. So the first one that we have here is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is a adult mystery thriller. This is her first adult mystery thriller. If you guys have been on this channel for any length of time, then you know I have really enjoyed a majority of Holly Jackson's books. So her previous release, The Reappearance of Rachel Price, I did not like. I have a rant review for that one. And so because I did not like that one as much, I had extremely high hopes for this one. And sadly, this one let me down. I believe I rated this one 2 stars. And the more I think about it, 2 stars might have been a little generous. However, people have really been enjoying this. So for some reason, this one just did not connect with me in the way that I wanted it to. So again, I do have a video dedicated to this. There is a non-spoilery section and a spoilery section. So if you want to check that out, I will have that video linked down below. So then the next 4 books that I'm going to briefly talk about, they are mentioned in a video where I read horror books that revolve around horror movies. I was really excited to do that video because I am a horror movie fan. I'm a horror girly, but there were some huge disappointments in that video. So the first one that I talked about in that video is The October Film Haunt by Michael W. Hunt. This is a arc that I received, and as of right now, the book is still not released. I believe it's released at the end of September, but this is an arc that I actually DNF'd. I only got 11% of the way in. It was very slow. Nothing about it was really holding my attention. And I felt like the author was just really overly descriptive in that one, so I just had to put it down. The other arc that I received that I read for that video that is actually already published, it is Smile for the Cameras by Miranda Smith. This was the book that I rated 4 stars and the only 4-star read that I'm going to be talking about in this video. This was a fun time. This was a pleasant surprise. If you are really into like the stereotypical slasher movies, I think this one would work for you, and it would definitely be a good book to pick up this fall. So the 2 really disappointing books that I read for that video, we have Chuck Tingle's Bury Your Gaze. I gave this one 3 stars. There was some stuff that I liked about it, and obviously some other stuff that I didn't like about it. But overall, I just kind of felt like I wasn't really pulled into the story the way that I wanted to be. I was more interested in the flashback scenes that we got than what was actually taking place in the present. I also don't really think that it delivered on the creep factor as much as I wanted it to. Now, I read Camp Damascus by this author, and I really enjoyed that book, which is why I had such high expectations for this one. But this one just missed the mark a little bit for me. And then the last one that I read for that video is actually Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This one, I think I rated it, I think I settled on 2 stars for this. And this was really shocking for me because even though this book has like a lot of mixed reviews, people who have enjoyed it the way that they described it, I thought it was going to be something that I was going to love. Now, this is my first full-length novel by Paul Tremblay. I have read a short story from them. I actually enjoyed the short story. So I was really looking forward to this one. And sadly, I don't think this is a place that I probably should have started. Maybe if I would have read some other stuff by Paul Tremblay, I would have viewed this one a little bit differently. But this one, it just took me a little while to get into. I did like the format of the story. I did like the script for the movie that this book references. I really liked that. What really killed me for this one, and I think what really brought my rating down, was just the ending. I was not sold on the ending, not really sure I even understood the ending, but that's neither here nor there. This book just did not work for me. So if you would like to know my detailed thoughts on any of those books I just mentioned, I will have those videos linked down below so that you guys can go check those out. So the rest of the books that I'm going to talk about are books that I have not spoken about yet on my channel. So we're going to start off strong, and we're going to start off with my DNF. And that is You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pliego. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is a adult mystery thriller. And I thought this was going to be one that I was just going to really love, and unfortunately I couldn't even get through it. So in this, we're following these authors. I think there are 6 of them, and they get invited to this secluded mansion by this other anonymous big time author for one reason or another. The person that actually invited them to the mansion has some ulterior motives. They're looking for revenge, but basically they're at this mansion, and then the part that I got to, like, during their dinners, they were have like mystery dinners. I didn't like it. I didn't get that far into it. I don't normally complain about people's writing. Like, the writing really has to be bad for me to point out that something's wrong with the writing. But for me, this one just felt really choppy. That's the best way for me to describe it. It just felt like we were jumping from scene to scene. And this was a book that I listened to on audio. And it would just be these moments where something would happen, and then it felt like we were jumping to like the next scene, and I would have to keep rewinding it because it felt like I was missing something, like a chunk of it was missing. I don't know, it was so weird. And then on top of that, I felt like none of the characters were really that interesting. When the person that invited them out started kind of going back in time and talking about like this little revenge that they wanted to get, could care less. So I unfortunately had to put this one down. So the next one is an ARC that I received, and this is Our Last Resort by Clemence Michelon. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I was actually really excited for this because this is the author that wrote The Quiet Tenant. I think it either came out last year or the year before last, or it could be even longer by now, but everybody seemed to really enjoy that. Now, I have that book. I have not yet read it, but when I saw that they had another book released, I was really excited to jump on that. In this one, we're following Gabriel and Frida, their brother and sister, and they are at like this resort spa in Utah out in the desert. While they're there, they kind of have some interactions with this couple, William and Sabrina. And on one particular night, Frida, I believe, is the one that actually heard them arguing. And then the next day, of course, Sabrina shows up dead. And so the police come out and they are trying to investigate what happened. But we're also getting these flashback chapters of how Frida and Gabriel grew up. They actually grew up in a cult, and they were in the cult for a long time. And throughout the story, we're getting these flashback chapters of them growing up in the cult and then how they were able to escape, which actually plays some sort of role in what is actually going on right now. I gave this 2 stars. This story was extremely slow. I personally don't think we spent enough time on what was actually happening in the present. We actually get a lot of chapters about Frida and Gabriel growing up in this cult, and I really actually enjoyed those chapters. But for me, the connection between them in this cult and what was going on now was lacking something, lacking shock value. Like, it was a stretch to try to like connect the two. It was almost like it was just 2 totally different stories, and I would have just rather read a book about them in this cult. I thought it was very interesting. The mystery that was actually taking place, I don't really have much to say about it because I don't feel like we really spent enough time about it. I don't think we got enough time with William and Sabrina for me to care about her dying. And sometimes in like my mysteries, I like to care about the people that die because then I feel like I'm more invested in the outcome and the reasoning behind things. But unfortunately, this story just did not deliver on that. I also just felt like the reveals that we got, like this one big reveal that we got, was really underwhelming. Did I guess that was what we were gonna get? No. But was I shocked by it? Not at all. And like, again, it just kind of felt like it was a stretch. But my biggest problem with this story is that it was so slow. And the only reason why I stuck through it was to get those flashback chapters of them in a cult. If you like a cult story, maybe this will work for you. But if you are looking for like a balance between that and this mystery, then I would say this might not be the book for you. So then the next book that I want to talk about is a young adult romance. This is The Education of Kia Greer. This is a book that I actually listened to from Libro FM. It was one of their advanced listener copies, and this is by Alana Bennett. So we're following our character Kia, and she is the youngest of 3 sisters, and all of them are on this like reality TV show. They're on like season 12. When I was listening to it, it really kind of reminded me of like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like, this family is really, really popular, and because of their popularity, of course, there are some scandals along the way. So Kia's older sister is going through a really public divorce, and it's not going well for the sister. And so Kia is trying to figure out what she can do to help. So she kind of comes up with this plan to get into this PR relationship with this young musician Cass. And so what starts off as a PR relationship actually grows into a real relationship. And she only wanted to even start the relationship because she was trying to take the attention off of her sister and put it on them. And that is exactly what happened. But the thing with Kia is she does not like the spotlight. She does not want to be on this reality TV show anymore. She is actually wanting to go to college. And so throughout the book, we're watching her and Cass form this relationship, but we're also watching Kia as she is trying to let her family know her true feelings about being in the spotlight and her dreams of wanting to go to college. I gave this one 3 stars. I thought it was really cute. I am a big fan of reality TV. I'm a reality TV junkie, and I am not ashamed of it. And if you are into reality TV, then I think this will work for you. That part actually really worked for me. I really liked Kia as a character. I really felt for her in certain scenes because it just kind of shows you the struggles of not only growing up in Hollywood, but being young and growing up in Hollywood and trying to make sure that you're always perfect and keeping up with your appearances and just like the pressures of Hollywood, which has to be horrific at a young age. And then her parents, especially her mother. I was not a fan of her mother. I think that was kind of the point, but she is very, very unlikable. And then I also liked Kia and Cass's relationship, and they have some things that they have to deal with as well, not just being in the public spotlight. So overall, I really enjoyed this. My only problem towards the end was it just felt really long. It started to feel a little drawn out, and I was just wondering when we were gonna wrap this up. But I had a good time with it, and I would be interested in picking something else up from this author. So next up, we have 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. This is a adult thriller. Now, this is one that I was super excited about because anytime someone like mentioned this author, this was the book that they mentioned. Everybody recommends this book, and I have been recommended this book several times. So of course, my expectations for this was through the roof, and that might not have been a good thing. So in this one, it has a really simple premise. We are following this defense attorney, and he is trying to defend this actor whose wife was found murdered. But we know, and it says it on the back, that a serial killer is on the jury. And then obviously, you know, it probably has something to do with this current case. So I thought the story was fine. It just didn't really blow me away. I liked the characters that we followed. So we are following this defense attorney, and then we're also following the serial killer. I liked that the defense attorney is trying to prove, obviously, that his client is not guilty. And I liked where the story went and them trying to figure all of that out. I also like getting the perspective of the serial killer and how they are trying to do everything they can in their power to not get found out. But after I got done reading this, like, nothing really stuck with me. I wasn't like super shocked or surprised by anything that happened. It's just not a very memorable story. Now, this is only my second book by this author. The first one that I read, Kill for Me, Kill for You, I actually really enjoyed that book. I believe it came out last year and I had such a good time with that. That one left me with some surprises. But this one, however, it was like good while I was reading it, but it definitely just didn't leave a lasting impression for me. This author also has a lot of books that they have released, and I'm interested in picking up more. So if you guys have read a lot by Steve Kavanaugh, please let me know what I should pick up next. Next up, we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So this is a adult contemporary romance, and I mentioned in, I think, a previous book haul that I had that I was really looking forward to trying out more from Ali Hazelwood. I know so many people really enjoy her books, and so I have been on the hunt to really find one that I enjoy. I read one short story by Ali Hazelwood, absolutely loved it. Then I read earlier this year Deepened, which was supposed to be like her, I don't know, like dark romance, erotica, something, and I didn't really care for that. So I've tried this. I also have Bride, and then I have another book that's like part of a series that one of my friends gave me. So I'm gonna try that as well. But for The Love Hypothesis, I had extremely high hopes for this one because this book was super hyped when it was out. I'm actually shocked that I never picked it up when it first came out. This book was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was raving about it. So of course, when it was my turn to read it, I thought this book was just gonna blow me away, and I thought it was fine. So in this, we're following Olive. She is trying to get her PhD. She is really passionate about the cancer research that she is currently working on, but she somehow ends up in this fake dating relationship with the professor Adam. And I think I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to spoil like why she's in the fake dating relationship. But of course, it turns from fake dating to both of them catching feelings, and then they're gonna decide what they're gonna do about that. This was not as good as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it while I listened to it because I did listen to this on audio. I liked Adam and Olive's relationship. I thought it was cute. I liked how it slowly progressed. They were fake dating for a while before anything actually happened between them, which I can appreciate. I appreciate when the fake dating goes on for a long time and not like, oh, we're just gonna go on one date and now we're like madly in love with each other. No, they were getting to know each other for quite a while before anything happened. I did like one of the side characters, Malcolm. I thought he brought a lot of humor to the story. I was really interested in her cancer research and just talking about women in STEM in general. Where this book kind of lost me was just like all of the miscommunication, and the miscommunication actually fell on our main character, Olive. She could have just, I don't know, communicated a lot of her feelings, but of course we wouldn't have a book if she actually communicated. And then the reasoning on why they were fake dating didn't really sit well with me because I had some questions about that, but obviously everybody else was fine with it because everybody really loves this book. but I thought it was fine. It has not turned me off from Allie Hazelwood. I'm definitely interested in checking out more from her, but this one was just okay. Last up, we have Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In. This is a adult psychological thriller. I actually just finished this one, and this was on my most anticipated reads for this year. So of course, again, I was really excited going into this. So in this one, I'm gonna be kind of vague because the synopsis is really vague, which I think it should be for this. So in this, we're following this woman, Nina. Her husband has died tragically, very tragically. And not long after that, she begins dating this man, Nick. And her daughter, Ash, is very skeptical of Nick because he comes off as too perfect. Then we follow this woman named Martha, and she is married to this man named Alistair. And Alistair all of a sudden starts doing this disappearing act. So as Ash is trying to look into Nick and figure out what's going on with him, they are somehow wrapped up with Martha and Alistair and his disappearing acts. And the story just kind of takes off from there. I found this book to be so hilarious. I'm not sure whether or not this book was supposed to be as funny as I found it, but I truly laughed out loud several times. I have never seen a character lie so much in my life, and the lies that they were telling and how naive some of these people were was actually cracking me up. I did also like the format of this book because it goes from now to like the past. And the past is like 4 years ago is where it starts off. And then it slowly, as the book goes on, you're catching up to the current. I like the characters that we followed. The only thing that is stopping me from really loving this book, I rated this one 3 stars, by the way, is that I don't think anything really surprising happens in this book like I wanted it to. So we know a lot more than the actual characters know. And so we are just waiting for the characters to catch up with where we are. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Because I had such an entertaining time reading this one, I think if something truly shocking was to have happened, I would have loved this more. I can definitely understand why this book will not work for some people. I don't think us knowing more than the characters is something that a lot of people enjoy. I think lots of people like to kind of figure out things along with the characters. I just really wanted at the end for something really shocking, and I don't even know, even if it was like something that was like totally out there, if something like that happened, I would have enjoyed it probably a lot more than I did. And then the ending, I wasn't really that satisfied with it. But everything leading up to that point, I did enjoy. Like I said, I found this book extremely hilarious. I think if this is something that you're going to pick up, just know that you're going to know more than the characters. And just go into it not really expecting a whole lot. And maybe you will have a good time like I did. I really wish that I could rate this higher, but I'm good with my 3 stars. I did enjoy this, and of course, I will be reading more from Lisa Jewell. So that is actually all that I have for you guys. For those books that I kind of breezed over, I will definitely leave the link to those videos linked down below in case you guys want to check those out. But let me know if you have read any of these. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I'm serious, if you guys have read from Steve Kavanaugh, please let me know what book I should pick up from them next. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.